15 rarest GM muscle cars of the 1960s. In the 1960s, GM built more than just legends. They hid monsters in plain sight. Some looked like Grandpa's grocery getter, but could smoke a GTO at a red light. These are the 15 rarest GM muscle cars of the 1960s. 15. 1965 Chevrolet Chevelle Z16 SS 396. Some muscle cars look like they were born for the track. Others, you'd swear they belonged in the church parking lot. And yet this one, trimmed in polite mid-60s chrome and modest body lines, hid a secret that GM barely whispered about. A soft-spoken two-door coupe dressed in the same suit as your uncle's daily driver, but under the hood, a factory-installed 396 cubic inch V8 thundering out 375 horsepower and 420 pound-feet of torque. This wasn't just any big block. It was the kind that could throw a car from 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, back when that sort of acceleration belonged to Corvettes and Ferraris. But there's a catch. Only 201 of these were ever made. Not because they flopped, but because GM used this car as a test bed, a proof of concept, a quiet warning shot. It was the Z16 package. And if you blinked in 1965, you missed it. The strengths: brutal straight-line power, smooth, confident cruising, and a chassis beefed up just enough to keep that torque from tearing the car apart. The flaw? Price and timing. It arrived just before GM was ready to mass-produce big block Chevelle, and it vanished just as quickly. Most people never even knew it existed. Fewer still saw one on the road, and if you did, it probably looked like just another mid-size Chevy until it was already gone. Let's move to number 14. 14. 1969 Chevrolet Biscayne 427. You'd expect a muscle car to have stripes, spoilers, maybe a vinyl roof, and a loud exhaust to match. But this one, it looked more like a police cruiser or a rental car from the government fleet. No badges shouting for attention, no flashy trim, just long, flat body panels and a set of dog dish hubcaps. But step on the gas, and it could terrify a Corvette. Beneath the hood of this 1969 full-size sleeper sat the legendary L72 427 cubic inch V8, pushing out a staggering 425 horsepower and 460 pounds-feet of torque. That's the same engine that powered some of the most fearsome track-tuned Chevys of the era. But in this case, it came wrapped in a Biscayne body that screamed fleet car. Built for those who knew exactly what they were ordering, often drag racers or law enforcement insiders. The Biscayne 427 was no accident. It was a loophole, a budget-friendly weapon that ditched all the comfort fluff and kept only the essentials: raw speed and brute force. With no power windows, no air conditioning, and no insulation, it was lighter than its Impala cousin and faster in a straight line. But there was a problem. GM didn't advertise it. No fanfare, no hype, and very few people knew you could spec a Biscayne this way. That's why today survivors are unbelievably rare and highly prized by collectors who know what they're looking at. Let's see what's lurking at number 13. 13. 1967. Chevrolet Camaro SS 350 with L48. When Chevrolet rolled out their answer to the Mustang in 1967, the spotlight instantly landed on the flashy Z28 and the brutal big block 396. But hiding just beneath the headlines was a small block version that quietly set the tone for what a real driver's Camaro could be. This wasn't the one built for showrooms or magazine covers. It was the L48-powered SS 350, a car that walked the line between civility and controlled violence. With its 350 cubic inch V8, the L48 pushed out a very underrated 295 horsepower and 380 pound-feet of torque. But anyone who's driven one knows those numbers were sandbagged. This thing moved 0 to 60 in around 6.5 seconds. With a broad torque that made it feel faster than it looked on paper. It had subtle SS badging, yes, but nothing loud. No racing stripes, no exaggerated hood scoops, just tight lines, a balanced stance, and a drivetrain tuned to embarrass heavier rivals. It was a scalpel in an era of sledgehammers. But what makes this one rare is its timing. It was the first year of Camaro production, and buyers were still figuring out what SS even meant. Most went for the 327 or held out for the Z28. Few realized the L48 SS 350 would become a benchmark for balanced muscle, but still loud enough to make you grin. And yet the next car on our list didn't just grin, it wore a snarl, a compact coupe that looked like nothing, until it made everything else disappear in the rear view. 1969 Chevrolet Nova SS 396 L78. On the outside, it looked like something your cousin might have inherited from grandma. Modest, compact, and built more like an economy car than a muscle icon. But under the surface, this thing was dangerous. The 1969 Chevrolet Nova SS 396 with the L78 option didn't come to play, it came to hunt. Nestled in that lightweight frame was the high-compression 396 cubic inch V8, putting out a scorching 375 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. That's right, the same brutal L78 engine you'd find in a much heavier Chevelle SS or Camaro, dropped into a car that weighed hundreds of pounds less. No frills, no luxury, just raw, unfiltered aggression. With the right tires and a steady foot, it could sprint from 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds and leave far flashier muscle cars choking on its dust. The SS trim added just enough cues for those in the know: badging, heavy-duty suspension, and disc brakes. But the overall shape still screamed budget grocery getter. That's exactly why so few people saw it coming, and why even fewer knew how rare these L78 Novas really were, especially when paired with the optional Muncie 4-speed and 4.10 rear gears. It was a factory-built drag racer in the body of a commuter car. And if you thought this was fast, wait until